Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Kev. Being brutally honest, uh, but you know how we do it. Black men are welcome, of course, when the panel opens up. If that's something I decide to do for this particular live stream right here, uh, but of course, this whole live streaming thing is about explaining oneself and one's position. So let me present a little context here before we get started. This is in no way to make excuses or to victimize anyone. We are speaking of a mindset, not an excuse. This is something that we should speak on more often, quite a bit, because you know some of you guys don't get it, and there is a difference between an accountability piece and accepting that there's a mentality that is possibly holding us back somewhat from soldiering up as a group of people, at least for the benefit of the people. We don't have to all be friends just because we share the same skin color. That's not something that I would ever seek. And, I'm not going to drive myself to an early grave worrying about it, because I do understand that our struggle, our culture, our skin color is used as a virtue signal. So this is no attempt to have a pity party on behalf of ADOS, FBA, African American, melanated, black, whatever you want to go with, whatever you want to go with. But I did say it was WS. So I do news shows, and I call them news without the WS. Let me go ahead and just for one show be perfectly clear on what that WS is. And shout out to people in the chat, by the way. We got RPM in the building. Revelator, the spirit of variance. Hybrid catastrophic impact X83rd power. All right, what's good? Said good to be here. WS is a mindset. Yes, it's a mindset. It's a mindset. You know. Art Stall. What's going on? So let's begin this conversation with a rant. My thoughts and maybe an experience or two with WS. I mean, you notice it. You notice it. You ain't got to be necessarily looking for it. I mean, it's not something that I want to see every day. If I run into it for some reason, like not many people know this, but I had a Karen incident happen. I just didn't feel like taking my cell phone out. This was like a couple years back. You know, woman got real Karen on me and shit. I don't hold back. I don't have any evidence. I'm not like the other folks. I don't cry. I don't ask myself, "Oh, why do they treat us like this?" It was more like a "get the fuck out my way, you fat bitch." But like I said, I don't have any evidence of that, so I'm not gonna sit up there and try to what the young people call flex. I'm not scared of any of them. I don't know. So I guess I get that from my father, that value of being quite mouthy with people I know that have crossed the line, or you can just look at and tell. You can always sense it a little bit. The little air of WS, and just in a subtle way, let them motherfuckers know that we're not our grandparents. But till in 2024, there's plenty of people out there that still kowtow and submit. So we got to talk about a little bit of that too. So, all right. So, WS. Let's be very clear what it is. If you're not with sensitive subject matter, let me warn you that this show might be a little bit heavy because I'm going to show you what inspired me to do this topic right here. So, if you want to, if you feel like this is gonna trigger any emotions or anything, you might want to go to another show or something like that on this channel, at least, you know. And also, as a reminder for people whose first time at this channel, please go below this screen and hit that subscribe button. And for those existing subscribers, make sure you're still subscribed because I don't know, subscribers just magically disappear, you know. And sometimes I have to take into account that my wording may be too direct for some, but just in case it's the little spiteful algorithm, just make sure you're still subscribed. So anyway, possibilities. So let's go and get some context going. What is WS? Boom, right there. So no need to guess that one anymore. The belief that white people constitute a superior race and should therefore dominate society, typically to the exclusion or detriment of other racial and ethnic groups. How many times in this space do you hear people talk about that white people are the dominant society, that they are the conquerors? So, by this definition, does that make them supporters of WS? Let's just go ahead and say it. White supremacist. Does that make, some of us with melanated skin white supremacists? Or as the Roger Report Live says it, white supremacist. They both mean the same thing. I don't like hearing anybody black saying it. If it's true or not, it's used as a shaming tactic. And I don't feel ashamed. Like I said, I grew up in different parts of the country. I mean, in a different part of the country than some of you had. So, it was up close and personal for me, and I know how to deal with it. You do two things, and most onion head ass Negroes don't understand this book, this little technique right here. What you do is you look them in the eye and you give them a firm handshake, and that solves all that WS shit right there. Most of y'all act like y'all don't know that. Most of y'all want to be friends, high fives and shit, go on boat trips and such. Like, hey, good luck with that. Shoot. I mean, I've had white friends in the past and I've made it through. I had white doctors. That's just how it is in this society. But they understand my position. In fact, shit, I've been called militant by blacks and whites. And it's not a matter of overcompensation just because, there are some that say that since I speak in words that people can understand, that is somehow talking white. That's what we're talking about when you know, when we hear people, our melanated brothers and sisters say shit like that. That's why we say it's a mindset. The notion that only white people have a fix on the proper way to speak the English language, while all of us have to speak some broken slang. You're a fucking idiot. I'm not gonna be nice about it like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Nice like, people like Art Nostal, who, he asserts his position when he has to, but guy's cooler than I am. I'm gonna say you're a fucking idiot. Shoot. Some of us spent too many years being nice. I've tried it one way and then a little devil on my shoulder just said fuck it. And the angel is like the devil has a point. Shoot, this should be some zero tolerance crap coming from any black person. Let me tell you who I'm not talking about. black men who date white women. I mean, unless he on some, I'm a act, I'm gonna have a slave themed wedding where I'm gonna act like I'm a slave. We've seen those images before. Or he's actually literally one of those guys that people on the internet talk about. Oh, they worship. Oh, they worship white folks and all that. He's a COO. If he's literally that, yeah. But if he just dating a white girl, I mean, and then he pretty much is a cool guy, I don't want to hear that shit. But people who are more comfortable with the idea that whiteness is better and more superior. They didn't. This definition doesn't say white people who think that whiteness is. It's saying the belief. So that means that it could be a black person who's a white supremacist, and there are some that are within this space that pretty much fit that description. It, it's it, it it's it's a dark thought to have because you don't want that kind of crap amongst you. You don't. So anyway, all right. Hope you are watching. Pressing the like button. If there's any dislikes out there, you might be who I'm talking about. I mean, yeah. Let's see. So, okay. So nobody's pressed dislike yet. Yeah, but it's like I said, just make sure that you are still subscribed to this channel. So we're trying not to make it too much of a what's wrong with black people podcast show live stream because I really want my people to win. I do. I want my people to win. I want my people to succeed. This channel is not for shaking the finger at people. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation about this kind of thing. Hybrid catastrophic impact X83rd Power says they believe whiteness is superior because they are drowning, aka in denial. Aaron P, what is good? All right. Thank y'all for coming through. So just a couple images that few images I'm gonna show y'all real quick and then say I might open up the panel. But look. Like I said before, this is not a show full of excuses or anything like that. You know, we have to understand that through our words and our actions, and as each one of us that are listening, that we have to be accountable for that. Yeah, that's if it's factually accurate, then that's something that we have to acknowledge. Yeah. So, all right, chaos reign. What's good? Okay, so let me show y'all a couple things. Hopefully, I got all this stuff in order. I want you to keep this context in mind. You cannot lead who refuses to follow. So you when you get the gaslight that this is some magnanimous excuse you're making and talking about WS, you know, they usually follow it up with some bullshit like you're supposed to lead, black men are supposed to lead and everything. And sensible black men who don't want to be bothered understand that, the statement that you see on the screen. You cannot lead who refuses to follow. You can't do it. And because and that is in part to the WS mindset. The other part is, what we've allowed. And I've said this before in the past, and you can take that how you want to take it. It's not my duty to blindly side with any group of people, but I do understand that there's a lot of just bullshit scrutiny that black men face. I do understand that. The WS mindset impacts the perception of what a black man is in this country very greatly. And that is something that needs to be acknowledged. So if whether you like that or not, I say let's have a conversation about it. Anyone opposed to this conversation can step up to the panel as well. Night ish, what's good? So, all right. So keep these things in mind. Keep, that and this as well. So here's what inspired this conversation right here. Saw this, this posting this on social media. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, there we go. All right. So it says it's Tashina Arnold defending these types of behavior. Do you agree with her? So she is quoted in saying, "It's disturbing to watch black people pounce on other black people when they're already down, guilty or not. But when it comes to holding other races accountable for their horrific actions, I hear crickets." Okay. I say she has a point. I say she has a point. I don't necessarily like the focus on other groups of people because it sometimes it can be used in a kind of a disingenuous manner, like as a straw man argument. But I get what she's saying because it's the talk of the town when it's a black person, and let's just not sugarcoat it. When it's a black man, it's just wow. When a black man goes down, we're all over it. Just and I've said this before and I'll say it again. If they are guilty of any crimes that are so egregious, you know, in that way, then they deserve to be punished. And no, they don't deserve our grace and mercy. No, 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 they don't. But if the evidence is kind of wonky, it just if it's more so word of mouth than anything, then if there's any room for doubt, then that's something you need to think about. Something that needs to be considered before you pass judgment. And I know that's a tough thing to do based on certain ethnic groups, but she does have a point. She has a point. Blue Marvel 9 says white supremacy is a worldwide expression of white people doing their best to continually maintain genetic survival of their we're gonna here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stick to the definition. uh, I mean, it's a belief. It's a mindset, and one could say that a white person can easily be placed as a white supremacist. But I will give you this to think about. I'll give you this to chew on. Why wouldn't anyone have that much pride in their race? Why wouldn't anyone have that much pride? Especially, black folks. I mean, we used to do it. We used to do it back in the 80s. Like the 80s was a strong period for blackness. I mean, some of you were children, but I could remember vividly that black pride was a big thing. But then the accountability pieces came up and yeah, like say Bill Cosby, people, emerging like Bill Cosby, on his speaking tours, and Clarence Thomas, and everything that happened with that, just a couple of significant events here and there, and things started to break down quite a bit. I can't tell you exactly where the downward spiral happened. It was probably, if and I really hate to say it like this, probably the dawn of internet access, and the dawn of social media. Not to say that it's totally a bad thing. It just kind of revealed who everybody was. Shoot. But yeah, we do jump on black folks. Now, I'm gonna show you a few pieces of evidence that what Tashina Arnold is saying is true. And the Diddy R. Kelly bubble pictures, I don't think that she might have been in reference to the Diddy case, but somebody put that image up there like that to um just put up there Diddy and R. Kelly, so there would be automatic pushback when this was posted. But she was telling the truth. Sorry. Sorry. And I'm not saying find a white person to condemn, but when the time comes, what happens? Most of you ninjas ain't there. Trust me, I I have experimented with this kind of thing, and I'm not saying I'm using people's playing with people's minds and using them as guinea pigs. All you have to do is a social media post in a high traffic area and see what you come up with. Let me tell you something. A lot of us are afraid to speak on like true racism, like of whites. The only thing that I mean, the only person that gets any kind of real focus as far as racism is concerned, the most potent media example right now is this guy right here, Donald Trump. See, the media and the TV made that okay. So it's okay all day to drag that guy, but when it comes to other facets, like the guys y'all work with, the friends y'all have making slick comments, your next door neighbor in a lot of cases, you check out on that. And this not just with Trump. This is not a technique that is used just with Donald Trump. It's any fucking thing. It's been happening for decades, ever since TV has had access to people's eyes. That's why they call it a TV program. I know you've heard that before. Program. It programs your mind. Programming. Blah blah blah. Tinfoil hat shit. Yeah. And don't think I'm sitting up here trying to champion this man right here. I'm just saying that this man right here is just the most potent example. He is everyone's racist boogeyman right now. That's it. And everything racist in this country is because of him. Yeah. Which really is a trick that WS uses. You know what? The saying from the usual suspects, the devil uh tricked the world into believing he doesn't exist or some shit like that. It's just that the fingers pointed the wrong way. I just don't happen to believe that racism just all of a sudden just came back to life when Trump became president. Is always been here. And most of you guys are just scared. I mean, it I mean it but we're here to work on that. We're here to work on that. We're scared to acknowledge something. Like, and I'm not saying isolate yourself from, just extreme tribalism. Isolate yourself from other groups of people. I mean, I know and I do understand, and sometimes I do preach that black people, when you cast a vote, should be concerned with what black people, you know, what black people can get. I preach that all day. You know what I'm saying? It's just you should be getting something for your vote. You should be. People died for it. I mean, I know that's used as a virtue signal. And I'm not one of those guys that people die for it, so you should vote Democrat, or people die for it because you should vote Republican. All I'm saying is people die for it. Why not be concerned with what you're getting? But let me get this image off. People be, oh, you're a Trump supporter. You think and believe. So let me tell you something. Which image is worse? The image I just had up there, or this image right here? If anybody wants to answer, Blue Marvel 9. Okay. Well, Ray Hama, what's good? What's good? What image is worse? What image is worse? This image right here? I mean, y'all will call this one low hanging fruit, or this image right here. So let's just, I know I kept the Trump image up long, but I just wanted to pop that question, especially to you guys in the replay gang as well. Shout out to the replay gang. So, anyway, let me go to something else. Show y'all my evidence right here. But same people be mad at me for this. Won't be mad at him for that. See, when I cast a vote, I don't do the lesser of two evils. I don't play this my racist is better than your racist game. If someone blatantly gives you a piece of evidence as to who they are, why are you not taking that into consideration? Mm, you're not mad at that. Black Pearl, what's good? Carlton Way 1, what's going on? Dang, why she got to be the dog? Oh yeah, here's another thing I want you to notice about that image right there. Let me turn back because it's like at first glance you just see white people, but if you look closely, those are all women. Those are all white women. Yeah, that's not one dude in that pic. I mean, there are other images of people cosplay like black folks who just don't get it, cosplaying little bullshit like slaves and shit like this. There's an image of a guy somewhere. But I ain't had that image. But this image became available some type of way. But it's fucked up. It's a fucked up image. That's what it is at the end of the day. I don't give a fuck. Oh, well, she was the brown one, screened one, so she had to be Scooby Doo. They'll pull that shit. No, that doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. But yeah, there are some other images out there. But I bet you the four white girls standing up would never, ever, ever in a million years want to play the role of Scooby Doo. Sorry, that won't happen. Not in that setting. Unless you want to hear shit like, "No, it's not fair. I don't care. I mean, the black girl should be Scooby Doo." Yeah, you will hear that in that conversation. She probably, you know what though? She's probably one of those people that has already heard the N word quite a few times. Hell, ask your Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson what she went through in college. But just all right. So let's see. So I wouldn't have signed up for that if I were that black chick. No way in hell. No, I mean shit like that should give off a signal to some people. Just you have to understand that there are some of us that don't respect what has happened in the past. So much so that we're willing to pull bullshit like this. Like I said, there's an image of Halloween cosplay as a black dude playing a slave for some white folks. So, um, you know, um, it's fucked up either way. You know, there are gonna be some people that's like, "Oh, you're just trying to talk about black women." You know how these niggas are. But I had this image available. She has no shame. No, what for? He don't give a fuck. Shoot. So while we're here, shoot. Bam, there we go. Well, we're here again. We are here again. And I'm here to say again that there was no way in God's green earth in these times that Barack Obama, before becoming president, could have tied the knot with a white woman. It's like being a dead horse. No, this horse is living. And like I said before, and then some of you may disagree with me, but I believe that she has a chance, a really strong chance to pull it off. Unless, of course, worst case scenario, white women decide that they want to go and do what they did with Hillary Clinton and vote for Trump. Then we have that we as black men would have to endure the barrage of what if Kamala was chocolate in that picture? What you saying? She matching? She looked like a matching set. Happy holidays. I mean, for real, at a glance, no one would question it. At a glance, if you didn't know who that was, oh man, I forgot what I was gonna say. Recommended manga and anime Crying Freeman. Oh, okay. Um, yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to say. Okay. Okay, we was talking about WS and you know Barack Obama could not have walked in the White House with a white woman and at least had black people support, but the white side wouldn't have voted for him either. There's a strong possibility that Kamala Harris could be our next president, and hopefully they at least keep one promise. She said something about legalizing weed, so shit. Let's go. No, I'm just playing. I want what's best. I'll say that. I want what's best for the people of our country. I want what's best for black folks, and I wish black people were concerned about the same. It's kind of like people just want to cast feel good votes, and I just wish we act a little smarter than this. There are people that are exponentially smarter about stuff like this. You know, because there's somebody out there like, oh, he mentioned that Kamala wants to legalize weed. That's all he cares about. Fuck yeah, that's all I care about. Fuck it. Fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, I just want as far as the cannabis industry, I would just like to see black people get a fair shake in it because it's a very profitable industry. It's about cash, just money, money. I mean, it's a booming economy, and like I said, it's not going to be a victory, like I said, unless black people have a fair shake in its industry. Yeah, and just like a Kamala supporter, had please thoroughly explain to me how any of her policies will benefit just blacks and specifically blacks because we've seen things done for specific groups. And just like the Trump supporter that is black has to explain to me how voting for Trump specifically benefits black people. I mean, I just want to know. I mean, I think that this needs to be a fair process because politics aren't fair. They're not. They're not fair. It's just like life. It's not fair. It's bullshit, as a matter of fact. But you know, you just gotta lower the amount of bullshit. Montel better check your ex chick. I mean, she's had some black, you know, some black esteem. But let me okay, let's switch gears here a little bit. Sean Diddy Combs possesses gallons and gallons upon gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons of baby oil, which is not illegal. But he's facing some serious charges. Facing some serious charges. Yes. Guy's an asshole. And usually especially in our neck of the woods, especially, with our people, we want to see assholes get their comeuppance. Indigo Flow was good. Uh, we want to see assholes get their comeuppance, but it has to be right. It has to be just. It has to be. It has to be that he was involved in some messed up shit. Okay, if they could, like for instance, and I'm not saying this is true, but say he did have something to do with the murder of Biggie or the murder of Tupac or both even. And if they could come up with solid evidence and they could prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt, yeah, he deserves to go down. But baby oil and sex parties and such, this I don't know. Like you can't just if if it wasn't SA or just shit like that going on and just illegal stuff and people just traumatized and injured and violated and shit, if it's just a sex party, then hey, why am I as a black person gonna talk about it repeatedly? So we'll just wait for all the facts and the evidence to come out. Meanwhile, I'm not gonna sit there and jump on it and act like I'm gonna be celebratory because this man is going down. Like we've done with other black men, as I will subsequently show you. And the fact that there are worse things going on than Diddy, like, I've seen this comparison made. This guy right here. People are comparing Vince McMahon and Diddy. And it's a whole thing. Like we just continue. I mean, and Diddy's been talked about. Diddy's been talked about. I ain't gonna say enough. You can continue to talk about Diddy and follow that story. This is social media. We can talk about anything we want. I'm not telling anyone that they should talk about Vince McMahon a little bit more. I'm not saying that. I'm not telling people what to do with their content. But to Tashina Arnold's point, might be a little we're a little silent when it comes to other groups of people. Let me see if I remember to put the other image in there. I don't think so. Shoot. Nah. I mean, but yeah, let me continue on Vince real quick. You know what? You know what? Vince McMahon is so bad to the point where someone thought to create this image right here. And the sad part about it is I am such a wrestling fan. I can tell you which one of those little dong drawings is based on Macho Man Randy Savage. Which this drawing isn't too far fetched from what Vince McMahon was actually doing. They damn sure aren't holding McMahon accountable as they are doing Diddy. Now I'm gonna show y'all a couple more like more potent examples because all the evidence ain't came out on Diddy yet. They talking about some Diddy has they're talking about how Diddy has recordings. Um, all I can say in response to that is a product of the business. That's what all the motherfuckers are doing. That's why you got motherfuckers that perform forever. Them record companies milk every cent they can out of them while they still alive. There's a lot of funky weird shit going on. Diddy just didn't understand that when you are a black man and you doing that same shit other people are doing, you are leaving yourself very vulnerable. So it's like, oh, why they ain't holding it? And Vince McMahon is accountable as they holding Diddy because they don't care about Vince McMahon. Shoot, people like me, sure. I've been a wrestling fan my entire life. you know, Vince McMahon is no longer associated with the WWE, so you can kind of no longer hold the WWE accountable for this. I mean, there are people that still work there that were associated with Vince, but you can't blame them for the shit that Vince got caught doing. I mean, I'm sure some of them knew something about it, but for the shit that he's accused of, there's actual shit, like, actual essay that he's accused. Like, a woman named Rita Chatterton, one of his female referees during the 80s. Yeah, he did some foul shit to her. He said, if you don't give me some, I mean, that's the only way you're gonna be big in this business. I mean, literally. The shit that a man should never do to a woman in a professional setting was done by Vince McMahon. And the point that some are trying to make is, hey, you know, when it comes to other groups of folks, because we want to be integrated with those people. We want to be on the side of people who are taken in and accepted by those people. Who's a big like I said, not only I can tell you which one that I mean, it's like I said, being a wrestling fan, this drawing right here is fucking hilarious. It's hilarious, man. It is damn. I'm gonna turn away from this shit. I can't. Uh, yeah. Do anybody in the comment section in the replay gang, do y'all know who Dan Snyder is? No, Dan Snyder was a producer. He was like he worked with the kids shows on Nickelodeon. And they said he did all kinds of shit. Showing pornography, bullying, traumatizing kids, harassing, maybe some touching. Shoot. And yeah, we condemn black men when it's at even the harassment level. It doesn't even have to be touching. And it's over with for a brother. And that's one thing that black men gotta, you know, that's one thing that we have to take into consideration as we move about in this society. I mean, Dan Snyder, he played Dennis Blunden in the TV show Head of the Class. He was the fat one. So fat and disgusting, that's not a good combination, especially around kids. Yeah. But I mean, it is we will, like I said, we'll condemn a black person. We'll condemn a black man based on ambiguity. Show y'all another example. Let me see. This one's old. Ray Humble worse than Diddy. All right. So many of you recognize Nate Parker. Who's the guy on the left? So yeah, y'all time to answer that one. But and of course, I mean, there are people that are worse than a lot of folks. I mean, Ray. I mean, but I'm trying not to be the person. We should be talking about that. We talk about what we want to talk about. Dan Snyder was weird as fuck, Jeanette. But thanks though. Thanks for offering that up. Dan Snyder was weird as fuck. Jeanette McCurdy from iCarly accused him of abuse and harassment plus grooming. Oh, oh, yeah, serious stuff. That's serious. That man should never be allowed to be near people again. Okay. There's a fan made documentary on YouTube called Surviving Dan Snyder. They just paid him off to cut ties with Nickelodeon. Okay. So I guess whatever happens to them won't be tied with Nickelodeon. Remember Larry Nasser? No, refresh me. But yeah. So all right, nobody answered who that other guy is. We recognize the black guys being Nate Parker. It's Jerry Sandusky. Okay, we know what happened with Jerry Sandusky. Monster. I'll just say Jerry Sandusky is a fucking monster. Man, why I got the Penn State logo? Because both incidences that involve Nate Parker and all of the shit that Jerry Sandusky did happened on Penn State campus. But one was proven innocent, one was proven guilty. One is probably still apologizing to this. Well, he took a stance. Let me retract that. Nate Parker took a stance. He refused to apologize for it, and black folks got mad at him for that. But black folks can't remember the horror stories that they heard about Jerry Sandusky. So it does like this would probably directly make Tashina Arnold what she said valid. Like nobody wanted to focus on Jerry Sandusky. I mean, Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar when he was saying some real shit. That was years and years ago. Umar is kind of a I don't know whatever word you want to refer to him as now. Some would say grifter, but when Dr. Umar was saying some real shit, yeah, he kept Jerry Sandusky's name out there. Uh, so, but whose career? I mean, Nate Parker doesn't have much of a career now because of what happened to him, and we know what happened. We went at him hard. We went at him hard. We told him that he can keep his slave field, and I'm gonna do a show on that sooner or later. Sooner than later. The movie Birth of a Nation and a lot of the symbolism and whatnot. I bought it on Blu-ray, so I know he got. I don't know how much money he gets for each Blu-ray, but he got a little bit of my money. So, uh, and I went and saw it in the theater. Yeah, I made sure I had that experience because we did this guy wrong as a people. We did Nate Parker wrong. We didn't want him. We didn't want to see him succeed on a story that needed to be told. That you had to understand that throughout history that there were black men that made the sacrifice, that sacrificed themselves. Nobody ever told a story about Nat Turner. But since it was a slave film, nobody wants to support that. And now these same people are complaining about critical race theory being taken out of schools. Boo fucking who. So, I mean, hell, even then, What about these two men right here? Two most prolific figures in the rights of blacks, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. The beratement they've been receiving from smug people on social media in recent years. B. Simone had a lot to say about Martin Luther King and his infidelity and just disrespected the man. That man died. He died a gentle soul. you know, he he wasn't going around smacking bitches or nothing like that. Malcolm X, on the other hand, was different, and he died as well. I think the common denominator with these two men are black man leadership. You're supposed to lead. Yeah, when we lead, we die. Unfortunately, and I'm not saying don't use that as the excuse. Oh, white supremacy just gonna tear us down if we try to do something. That's not an excuse at all. Boy, these men died for the cause. Both of them, in one way or another, died for the cause. And how do we think these two men we disrespect them? But Negroes are still telling their kids about Santa Claus. Unfucking believable. I mean, for real. Those of you with kids, especially in the replay game, have you told your kids about Santa Claus? I mean, it's too late for me because thank my in laws for that one in the fucking Disney Channel. I had an opportunity to tell my daughter about 2 years ago. No, it ain't real. You really think there's a fat motherfucker flying around the earth? Jolly white man just giving you free shit? I mean, damn. What do you think it is? Is a tax write off? Like, yeah. But hey, just I don't want to ruin y'all fun at holidays. We'll do that on another show. Mm. You know what else is kind of WS leaning, and you probably, some will probably call me a hater for this. This shit right here. This shit right here. To believe that the actual, I would say, the backbone of the community, if you are worthy of such position as a black man, this man right here is undermining you. This man is undermining you to your face. To hear separate people who ain't never met, and I talked to quite a few people. To hear separate people who I've never met go in on black men for the same thing. The supposed lack of support that black men have for the Democratic Party. You got ninjas like this out here. And when I say ninja, I don't Roland Martin couldn't climb a that man couldn't climb a short bush, let alone a rooftop. I'm just trying to keep from saying nigga. Wants to undermine black men to our faces by wearing this shirt publicly. I understand if a black woman is wearing this shirt. I do understand. If a black woman is wearing a shirt that says vote like a black woman. But just because Roland Martin has tits doesn't mean that this is a good look. It's not. It's not a good fuck. It's not a good look. I'll just say. Nah, nah. That man to be out of breath before the first shot is fired. Said vote the way you want to fucking vote. Shit. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, I got one last image. I got one last image. Yeah, I know my examples had something to do with essay and all this other stuff, but hey man, people really wanted to see Bill go down, man. Too many of our people did. Over this the other over Andrea Constant? For real? I mean, I get the animosity, it just that this was a dick policing moment for black people. You know how we love to dick police. We give ourselves a false sense of purpose when we do that, thinking that we're saving black people by wagging the finger at black men for who black men decide to stick their penis in. And yes, when even as I look at younger pictures of Andrea Constant, I would still question Bill Cosby's logic on this. Bruh, I know you had somebody a little better looking than this in the chamber, bruh. What are you doing? The fuck is going on here? On Google, it says Santa can travel 1,367 miles per second to deliver gifts to every home in the world in one night. LOL. And okay, I'm looking for a number right now because I'm about to call bullshit. Holy shit. Oh, then that means that would also mean that he has time to stop and grab the milk and cookies because kids leave them the milk and cookies too. I mean, shit. I mean that means that Santa Claus, like, if he's delivering gifts to all over kids all over the world, and he's really going that fast, that 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 means that he can beat Goku. I think that stud is lying. Yeah, the solid. I mean, her interest music is solid as a rock. And they just play the solid as a rock part, and none of that. That's what this look solid as a rock, and then just keep repeating it. When she go into a fight, that's her interest music because she's stoned, she's petrified. I would have to ask young Bill Cosby. It's like, what the fuck, bruh? But if he was guilty of anything, I was like, nah, he was just guilty of, you know, getting caught up in a stupid ass situation. But he's giving drugs to them. Look, I mean, it was a drug culture. He said, yeah, I gave them drugs, but they knew what they was taking. Dikembe Mutombo died 2 days ago from brain cancer. Oh, he died from brain cancer, but that I would say it's probably about 4 or 5 days now, actually. And then John Amos is gone. No, I haven't said anything about. I don't believe any of these dead black men, like John Amos and Dikembe Mutombo. But I did say something about James Earl Jones and Frankie Beverly. And John Amos, I use his face in the thumbnail, and I use his face in quite a bit of thumbnails. He was a great actor. Seems like he was a great man as well. I mean, he was a definite staple in black entertainment. So rest in peace to John Amos. Uh, yeah, and I am happy that before he passed, I was using that image quite often. Yeah, I was using that image of him with the smirk on his face quite often. So, uh, glad to know that speaking on John Amos, fact, I mean, was is not a virtue signal, but I mean If for real, if you, I'm a mid 70s baby, so um, I grew up with people like John Amos on my television screen. Yeah, he passed on August the 21st. Let me share the screen real quick. Uh, let's see. Yeah, not only played James Evans, he played Kunta Kinte in the Roots television series. He played the patriarch of the uh, McDowell Empire in uh, yeah, Oh Coming to America, Cleo McDowell, which was one of his more famous roles. Yeah, but one thing I like about John Amos was that he stood on business as far as the kind of image that he wanted reflected in the television series Good Times. Just give let's give Esther Roll or Esther Rolle, if I'm mispronouncing her name, then my apologies to whoever may be offended by that. But to their credit, they wanted the show Good Times to be something else besides what it became. Is Jimmy Walker jumping up and down and saying dynamite every episode just to get a laugh. And that's what it ended up being. And there was a lot of tension between them two and Jimmy Walker. Esther Roll didn't even speak to Jimmy Walker because um my theory on that is I guess they felt as if Jimmy should have fought more for to have Good Times to be a more a show about the progress of how a black family rises out of a depressing condition like being in the ghetto. But of course it turned into the Jimmy Walker JJ Dynamite show. There's a movie named Dancing in September that is basically the story of Good Times, but they use a different time period, different show, different title. I mean, you would see the similarities. Lionel Player One was good. It says September. Okay. Uh, yeah, but John Amos, his death was kept private. Like, we are just hearing about John Amos. Rest in peace, John Amos, Matumbo, James Earl Jones, Bill Russell, Fat Man Scoot, Rich Homie Quan. Yeah, people dropping, and you miss some names too. Shoot, Frankie Beverly. Shoot, but it's it's like it. The thing is about people like me and my age group. I'm not saying that it has less impact on younger people, but like I said, when you grow up with these folks, it's just air. It starts to present an air of mortality, like the finality of life. Tito Jackson, yeah, Tito Jackson, son of Joe Jackson. I remember when in Living Color, I remember when Jamie Foxx parodied Tito Jackson. I thought it was real funny because it kind of poked fun at how regular Tito was. But Tito, he was the guitarist. Shoot, Tito was doing the guitar riffs, man. Shoot, people slept on Tito. I mean, when they did that Jackson 5 Victory album, they did like one song, like each Jackson brother did one song, like where they went solo and they sang the song and all this other stuff. The only people that did good was Michael, because he Michael Jackson, of course, Jermaine, uh, and I think Randy did had halfway decent. Tito didn't, nah. Nah. I mean, Tito also tried to get his sons into the music business. I don't know if anybody remembers, when they released that song. Yeah. The group was named 3T. They had one song on the radio, but their careers floundered from there. So, uh Tito Jackson was so underrated. Eh, yeah, but yeah, getting back to the story of Good Times, it was like they didn't want a show about progress. They shifted it to more of a entertainment focused, and for the most part, it worked for them. I mean, except for the fact that James' death is iconic and famous, and it happened off screen. And then the reason why it happened off screen because he was fired from the show because they consider him a troublemaker. Wanting to see a do better outcome for the Evans family. James wasn't even supposed to be a character on the show. They originally did not want a dad on the show, but Esther Roll fought for it. Like I said, to her credit, she fought for it. She fought for the Good Times role, to put a father in there. So what they did was they created James, but gave him a sixth grade education, and they made it extremely difficult for him to keep a job. But John Amos pulled off the role, even though he would be like what we would call a broke nigga. Like many of us who are disrespectful and just hate black men anyway, we would call that dude broke. But what John Amos did was he pulled off one of the most iconic TV dads of all time. And it didn't take him very long to do it. Like it didn't take him several seasons to establish that. It took like 1.5 seasons for him to do it. James Evans will always be remembered. Like people show so much love and respect to James Evans just because of the way John Amos played that role. People will go as far as to say, "Oh, you need a dad like James Evans." Like, no, you don't. Like, he can't pay shit. Like he can't do like his his uh his financial capabilities are very limited. And you talking about, people who are in the ghetto. So Florida's financial capability is limited too. But you couldn't feel that kind of thing watching it on TV. What you saw was a dad that kept his kids in line in a serious manner, but he pulled it off like he loved his children. And I think that is a testament to the kind of actor and the kind of man John Amos was. They gave him little to work with and see what he did with it. See what he did with it. He made you, as the television viewer, he made you take James Evans seriously. So rest in peace to that brother. So, all right. So anyway, get back to what the fuck I was talking about, you know, earlier, previously. Um, who would you believe right offhand? Bill Cosby or Andrea Constant? Or as some people call him, Andre Constant. I'm just that wasn't factual. I'm sorry. That Kevin, did you see that Keisha that made a social media post saying RIP to John Amos? Say how she put, yeah, yeah. I saw that. Kill Bunny, yeah, I saw that. Anything for attention. Anything for attention. And then, like, even then, shit, all that would say to John Amos's credit is, shoot, he's still knocking them down at that age. Let's look at him one more time. He's still knocking him down? Like shit. It's a black man right there. And hybrid catastrophic impact X-83rd Power did not know that John Amos was dead previous. It's like he died, but they let you know just a few days ago. And he's been dead since the 21st of August. So he died very privately. His family kept it very private. Hell, when Akira Toriyama died, it was announced 1 week after his death. The creator of Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero comes out on Friday. I'll be picking up my copy. Mordecus to the late John Amos. All right. To the late John Amos. Salute. So anyway, we supposed to be talking about WS and how these niggas be choosing white over black. Basically. Basically that's what it is. So all right. You know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. I'll say I think I've said enough. And it's getting old, so it's past my bedtime. So, but let's flash that up there as this show comes to an end. Unless somebody wanted to come up here, they had something to say. I think this show is pretty contained, but the context is this, and this is the context that was needed. I, I didn't do this show to make excuses for the failures of black men. If there are such failures that have to be highlighted, which I'm not a fan of unfair scrutiny, but we would, and we have, it's been made very clear to us as black men, especially on platforms such as these, that we should not speak to, about, or on behalf of black women. But I would at least like for them who seek the understanding that they ever so complain about not getting from others, that WS affects them as well. It seems, based on, evidence, like what you see with your eyes, that, you know, it affects, black men and black women differently. But as different as it is, it's the same as far as the mentality, the mindset, the spirit of WS. To believe that just because it's white, that is better. The white man's ice. You heard that saying, the white man's ice is always colder. I've explained, before, the hip white guy that, black people seem to love, and, you know, I've explained that before. And, I explained it as a way of acceptance, wanting that acceptance from another group of people instead of, you know, being kind of with our own. So, I'm not trying to divide you from other groups of people. You do what the fuck you want to do. If you making money with other groups of people, other races, then get that money. But this shit exists, bro. This mindset exists. And the more and more our people deny the existence of such, the more and more prevalent it becomes. So, anyway, I have had enough. The hit white guy, sort of the white guy who wants to be accepted by black people. Well, if that's the case, he gets what he wants immediately and without any type of examination or vetting by our people. They just readily accept that. A black guy reading a book and ain't trying to get everything pregnant. Guess what we call him in 2024? An incel, which is fucked up, by the way, how we punish our intelligentsia. We do as a people. We punish our intelligentsia. We focus more on the physical aspect and the validation part from females and such. This mentality right
Man,
here.
that's a female.
Yeah. we do we do we do want that acceptance. We are the ones that want that acceptance. I don't care. KF personally does not care. But from what I observed, man, shit, WS is programmed in just about all of us. And it's up to us as individuals whether we want to deprogram that shit from that shit or not. So if you want to build a sinking ship, hey, go right the fuck ahead. So think about that. I'll leave you with that. That's it. Long live the habitual line steppers. And I'm out this piece.